Hey folks, how's it going? Ray in Hampton here. We got Movement Monday here for you guys on Monday, April 29th, 2024. Welcome, welcome. How you doing, Hampton?
I'm good. Sunny day, and I'm excited for this episode again this week.
Good, good. All right, today we're going to chat about setting realistic expectation and what happens when you don't and why that's important. Major reason why we're discussing this today is one, it's important, and two, we have a new challenge starting coming up on May 1st, Wednesday. So I wanted to make sure that we're setting everybody up for success in their mindset, as well as in their movement, as well as in their planning for what they expect out of each challenge that they do. And this will apply to more than just our challenge that we do here, but it is intentional in the timing that we're doing it here. But it's stuff that should be taken to heart every day as you're preparing for different challenges. So we'll jump right in with starting with movement and setting real expectations in movement. Um, First thing that comes to mind is, a lot of times people think that they go to the gym for, a couple weeks and then all of a sudden it's easy. And that's not a realistic expectation within itself. It takes time and it takes maintenance and it takes, improvement, and it takes every day is something different. And we've mentioned it a handful of times before, be 1% better, next time than you were this time, and be a little bit better at the end of each workout or at the end of each, intended movement. Going for a walk, hitting that treadmill for a walk, for a run, riding a bike, whatever the case may be. Just understand that it's going to take time, and if it doesn't take time, typically, it's not going to be something that's sustainable for you. Because if it's that easy, there's something in your mindset that sets. It's not hard to reach those goals, and so they don't mean as much to you internally.
I just wanted to add, I've been going to the gym for years or getting movement for years. And, I still have days that it's really hard for me to go. And usually those are the
Yeah,
best workouts for me. The
yeah,
days that I don't want to go and I make myself go because I want to be consistent, and I'm determined to hit my goals and things like that. But there's hard days,
yeah,
even after going for years and it being in my routine daily.
yeah.
So, yeah, just that.
Another thing is, especially me being a man in my mid 40s, going to the gym and expecting to achieve, six pack abs, for one, is a far fetched goal, and
Mhm.
it's possible, but it's a lot harder for me in my mid 40s than it would be me in my early 20s. And I
Yeah.
think, a lot of folks see different body styles or different ages, and they think that's the body that I want, and that's not appropriate. You can't always do that, and if you're going to do that, you're going to live a very boring life, because you have to have only the set macros that you have, or that you're
Mhm.
allowed to have, so that way you can have those, those six pack abs, and then you have to maintain that. So what are you working towards? Um, Realistically, you're going to get in better shape, yes, but also, are you going to look like a 25-year-old model? No, you're probably not.
And you're
You
probably going to
could.
be miserable, to be honest.
Exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
same goes for, a lot of small, skinny people expect to have this body lifestyle that the big beefy dudes have, and it's like your shoulders
Mhm.
aren't that wide. Like, that's not how that works. And so,
Yeah.
or it's same difference. If you're a super big guy, you want that small waisted guy. That's just not how your genetics are set up, and so that's not realistic. And so, one issue that I identified, that I need to look for people that have my body stature if I'm looking for what my goals are, because I can't expect to have, a size, 28 waist. I will never have a 28 waist.
Yeah.
It's just not going to do that. I'm comfortable where I'm at. I know. I mean, 28 is really small. I don't know why I put that number, but but yeah, super small waist. I'm just not a small waisted guy. I never have been. Even in my leanest that I've been, I can't even think of what my waist size is right now. But um, but
Yeah.
it's just, realistically, that's not anything that looks good. And I've talked to, a handful of people recently about what my goals are and where I'm trying to get to be. It's not even I'm pretty darn close to, like, I'm about 10 pounds away from where I want to be on the scale. Now, that I say on the scale because my goals aren't weight based. My goals are health based. And
Mhm.
so, it's just that goal. It's realistic to think that, I'm going to eat the best that I can most days and most times of the year, but there's going to be weeks or days that I fall off, like we talked about last week with the choices.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
I have about I think I have about 5 pounds, like give or take, but I also have learned to not focus so much on the number
Hmm.
um, on the scale, which like your clothes start fitting differently, and just everything aside from the scale. It's always nice to see the scale go down if you're trying to lose weight, obviously, but that's not the only goal for me, I guess, too.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and for me, when I get down to where I want my goal weight to be, as soon as I start to drop below that, I start getting how much weight are you trying to lose? Why do you think you need to lose more weight? And like,
Yeah.
and I understand that it's personal, but people are used to seeing me in a certain way. Especially, my aunt and my mom. They're like, well, that's probably enough now. And you know how parents are. It's they want
Mhm.
you to look healthy, and how a healthy version of you looks different than than you know than what they might be used to. But also, I look healthy now, but I still have some size to shrink, and that's about it. So, and then looking forward to, like, the challenge that we talked about. In the challenge, the 45-day challenge, and you can lose a lot of weight quick. But in 45 days, if you're expecting to lose 60 pounds in 45 days, probably not realistic. It's not healthy either. You don't want to
Mhm.
lose that much weight that fast. You know, 10, 15 pounds is typically the goal. If you get that, a little bit less might be fine and well, but it's a maintenance process. And so, realistically, you want to make your adjustments. You want to learn new habits. You want to have healthier habits. That's why it's called the Healthy Habits Challenge. And so, in our particular challenge, but with any challenge, when you're working on weight management and controlling your size and getting your movement in, and be realistic. What can you eat? What can't you eat? And that attitude of this is hard because I can't have that, and I can't have that, and I can't have that. Um, Realistically, if you start focusing on what you can't have, it's going to be a lot harder than if you focus on what you can have.
Right.
And so, it's just, that's a realistic thing, in that you set the mindset, and your mindset's going to impact how well you do on any challenge.
I feel like too, what I really like about our challenges being like healthy habits, everything that you said, but also if you just switch your mindset, get more movement than you're used to, like if you don't fixate on solely the weight management part and you
Hmm.
do all the little things that add into healthy habits, you're going to lose weight.
Yeah,
You're going to fall off and you're not even going to like you're going to notice, but you're not going to be like so focused on it. You're going to be like almost surprised. Like, do you get what I'm trying to say? Like
yeah,
when you do
I
all the
do get what
little
you're trying to say.
work, it adds up. It
Mhm.
like you don't need to just sit and fixate on like the scale moving, because getting more steps, even changing, I know we talked about this, but changing your mindset, getting more water, making better choices. You don't have to completely flip your eating habits upside down, because the more you put into on your plate, I know we talked about this, but you're gonna get overwhelmed.
Yeah,
You're not gonna want to do it, and then you're gonna back up, and then you're gonna be back to square one. So like the more
yeah,
you add in little by little, the more weight that's gonna come off, and you're not even gonna notice. Your clothes are gonna start feeling different. Your
yeah,
mindset's gonna be different. So essentially your brain's gonna feel less heavy as well, right?
yeah, definitely. And when you talk about plate, there you're talking metaphorically about a plate. Your plate. If your plate's too full, it's too much to handle. Stuff's going to fall off. But
Yeah.
as you're mentioning, we talked about literally your actual plate. You put too much on your plate. A lot of us are programmed to eat what's on your plate, and that's a problem. And so I'm guilty of that. So I try hard not to overload my plate because I'm gonna finish it. And so, do I need to do that? No. Realistically, I don't need the expectation that everything on my plate has to go in my mouth, but also I should just set myself up for success by
Not putting so
loading
much on.
less on the plate. And so, and
Yeah.
that's the thing, and it works both metaphorically there as well as literal, because the more you have on your plate, the more you're going to try to handle. But if you keep your plate a little bit cleaner and just go with the bare necessities and allow yourself to focus on certain things, you're going to have better success. So, I mean, I just love that analogy because it kind of works well, uh, on both forms there. So you triggered a thought about the scale, and it's I say this often, and I say it, here, I say it in the gym, I say it everywhere. Do not be a slave to the scale. That scale is not the only indicator of how well you are doing at anything that you're working on for your health. Your waist size will help you. How you feel, how easy it is to get up, how easy it is to start moving, because those things do become easier as you become in better shape, and as you start getting your movement in, like you mentioned. And that scale doesn't always reflect those positive impacts. That's why there's such a thing as non-scale victories, because there's a lot of them. Your clothes feel better. And so with these challenges, we have a requirement that you have to take measurements, take pictures, and your weight. And the measurements and the pictures, I don't think that we focus enough on that. That's the more important part, because how you look and how you feel are really what the goals are there. The weight is just kind of a bonus. And so if, as we've discussed, sometimes that muscle is a little bit, your muscle's more dense than fat is. And so you're going to have heavier pounds in that when you replace that fat with muscle. And that's not a bad thing. So when you're looking at that scale, it may not indicate what kind of gains you've gotten as far as muscle goes. And so, and that's deterrent to some people. That's will kick people off, from staying on track. So,
Well, I also feel like there's a lot that like factors into your weight on the scale, like number wise, because like water weight, you don't know, and are you weighing every single day the same exact time of day? Are you waiting till it, like, how accurate really is it? Right. So your pants going down sizes can't lie to you. Like,
yeah.
and I know, like, I feel like for women especially, but maybe men as well, you could, like, some people can really obsess over stepping onto the scale, and that doesn't need to be a thing, like, at all. So I agree
Well, and
with you.
so,
Measurements and pictures, like, top priority. Like,
yeah. Well, and I've talked to people recently that I've had to take this, just completely get rid of a scale in their house because they do obsess over it. And so that, that's good for them. But that's unfortunate that it gets to be that much of an obsession that, you can't have a scale in the house because it's an addiction. Am I losing weight? And then if you're not, if it doesn't drop every day, then you're like, well, what am I doing? It becomes a problem. And so, don't do that to yourself. Don't put a negative impact on the goals that you're working towards. So,
I totally agree.
one last thing I wanted to touch base on is, sleep is extremely important in any adjustment that you're doing, in any lifestyle that you have. Sleep needs to be prioritized. If you're not getting quality sleep, and if you're not getting enough sleep, or reverse that. If you're not getting enough sleep and it's not quality sleep, that's bad. And so realistically, people talk about, well, I'm going to go to bed earlier. Are you? If you're going to, then make sure that that's a goal that you're actually intentionally setting, and that you're making that happen, and that you're giving yourself a realistic, expectation of what time you're going to wake up in the morning. Because if you're planning on waking up 2 hours earlier than you have been, and you want to start that cold turkey, chances are you doing that are slim. And we talk about a lot about me working out in the morning. And so, it's a decision, but that's typically only about 90 minutes earlier. And it's the reason why I go to the gym, that I go to is because I can roll in there tired, and I'm gonna, somebody's gonna push me because there's a coach there that, and then there's other members that, that I also coach, but I work out side by side with, and that helps me wake up. And so that there's an expectation there of that I'm going to go and they're going to wake me up. And so
Yeah.
I'm about to start getting in training season for running, and so I'll have to start mentally preparing myself for that. I have to be that motivator for me, because I fully recognize that there's nobody yelling at me telling me that I have to do it, and the accountability lies within myself. So
It's good for you though.
yeah.
Yeah.
But also, it's in that I have to be real on, you have to get to bed when you're supposed to be in bed, because there's so many distractions. That little device that sits in front of your face 90% of the time, that's a major distraction. And I have a goal at some point to figure out a way to stop sleeping with my phone by my bedside. And so I don't exactly know what that looks like, because I have camera alerts on it. I not that there's ever been anything that happens, but
Right.
I want the phone right there. If the camera beeps, I want to know somebody's around my. You just never can be too safe. And
Yeah.
so, but also, what if I don't want it downstairs? What if my kids call? They know that I'm the one that always answers the phone. So, and with early 20-year-old kids, there's a good chance that they could be calling in the middle of the night at any given time. But those are my excuses of why. So that's realistically why I haven't just moved it. But I do have intentions on figuring out ways to make that happen. So get your sleep, prioritize it, and be realistic about how much sleep you can actually get. So I will. That's all that I have. Do you have anything to add to that?
No, I'm good.
Yeah, good deal. All righty. Well, we'll go ahead and wrap up. Again, we're Ray and Hampton, Movement Monday. Here, we are both promoters for innovative nutrition. So if you have vitamin and supplement needs, reach out to us. We'd love to help you. We have weight management products as well, but that's not all our company is. There are a lot of stuff that help improve movement and just help you be a better self. We do this every Monday here to talk about movement and to talk about vitamins and nutrition, just like we did, and how those pair together and how that looks in our world and from our mindset. If this is your first time visiting our channel, please give us a subscribe. We'd love the support. Wow, that rolled all out in one word. Please give us a subscribe. We would love the support. If movement and or nutrition is something that's a passion of yours and you'd like to join us, reach out to one of us. We'd love to have you as a guest on our channel here. Other than that, we will wrap up. A reminder to drink your water, take your vitamins, get your movement in, get it done. We will see you all next week, and have a good one. Bye.